Let's have a completely honest conversation about the current state of building a home. If you look at standard construction costs today, the national average is hovering around $200 to $300 per square foot. That means a basic 2,000 square foot house can easily cost you $500,000 before you even buy the land. For a massive portion of the population, that number is simply insurmountable. It feels like the dream of building a custom modern home has been locked securely by a wall of inflation, high interest rates, and soaring material costs. But what if I told you that you could bypass that system entirely? What if you could build a stunning, architecturally significant, highly functional modern home for under $150,000? I am not talking about a tiny house on wheels that feels like a closet. I am talking about a permanent, grounded, deeply beautiful structure, the modern Dogtrot house. By leveraging the historic brilliance of this two-pavilion layout and combining it with smart, disciplined construction strategies, you can achieve the impossible. However, and this is the crucial part, building a home for under $150K requires absolute discipline. You cannot walk into a luxury design showroom and pointed custom Italian marble or massive custom-engineered architectural glass. To hit this budget, you have to think like a pragmatist. You must understand where to spend your money, and more importantly, where to ruthlessly cut costs. Today, we are going to break down the exact step-by-step financial and structural blueprint for building a modern Dogtrot house on a strict budget. From the foundation to the roof, we are revealing the secrets to making affordable architecture a reality. Let's get to work. To build a house for under $150,000, you have to fundamentally change how you calculate square footage. The most expensive parts of any home build are the climate-controlled, dry-walled, fully insulated interior spaces. Every square foot of interior space requires heating, cooling, flooring, wiring, and finishing. If you try to build a massive interior on a tiny budget, you will run out of money during the framing stage. This is exactly why the Dogtrot is the ultimate budget hack. The genius of the Dogtrot is that it allows you to build a small interior footprint while making the home feel massive. To hit the $150K target, your enclosed, heated living space must be kept strictly under 1,000 square feet. You divide this into two pavilions, a 500 square foot living and kitchen cabin and a 500 square foot bedroom and bathroom cabin. But here is the magic. You connect them with a 400 square foot open-air breezeway under a continuous roof. Because the breezeway requires no insulation, no drywall, no HVAC, and no complex wiring, it costs a fraction of the price to build. Yet, for 8 months out of the year, that breezeway functions as your primary living room, your dining room, and your entertainment space. You are essentially building a 900 square foot house that lives and breathes like a 1,400 square foot house. It is the ultimate exercise in maximizing cheap, unconditioned space.
The very first major expense of your build is the foundation, and if you are not careful, the dirt under your feet can swallow a quarter of your entire budget. Pouring a massive, continuous monolithic concrete slab is incredibly expensive. It requires extensive grading, leveling, formwork, steel rebar, and dozens of concrete trucks. If your land has any slope to it whatsoever, the cost of moving that dirt to create a flat pad will destroy your $150,000 budget before you even frame a single wall. The budget-friendly solution for a Dogtrot is the classic Pier and Beam foundation. Instead of paving over the earth, you drill a series of deep holes, called piers, below the frost line, and pour concrete into thick cardboard tubes, like sonotubes. You then rest heavy wooden beams or steel girders across these piers to support your floor joists. A pier and beam foundation requires drastically less concrete, completely eliminates the need for expensive earth grading, and allows the house to gracefully float over uneven terrain. Furthermore, it lifts the house off the ground, which naturally protects it from flooding and allows for incredibly easy access to plumbing and electrical lines in the future. By opting for a pier and beam foundation, you can easily save $10,000 to $15,000 right out of the gate, preserving that precious capital for your interior finishes.
Let's talk about the framing. Standard residential construction relies on stick framing, building walls out of hundreds of closely spaced 2x4s. While this is the industry standard, it is highly labor-intensive and requires a massive amount of expensive lumber. To hit our extreme budget, we are going to borrow a brilliant technique from the agricultural and commercial building sectors: post-frame construction. Commonly known as pole barn or barndominium style construction, post-frame building uses large, heavy timber posts spaced 6 to 8 feet apart, connected by horizontal wooden beams. Because the heavy posts carry all the structural weight of the roof, you do not need continuous load-bearing stud walls. This means you use significantly less wood, and the structure goes up incredibly fast. For a Dogtrot layout, post frame is an absolute dream. You set the posts for the entire footprint, both pavilions and the breezeway, in a single unified grid. Then you simply wrap the exterior in commercial-grade corrugated metal siding. Corrugated metal is cheap, indestructible, requires zero maintenance, and can be installed by a small crew in a matter of days. You bypass the expensive layers of exterior sheathing, house wrap, and expensive custom wood siding. The result is a structure that goes up in a fraction of the time, slashes your labor costs, and provides a sleek, modern, industrial aesthetic that perfectly suits the minimalist Dogtrot vibe.
Roofing is notorious for draining budgets, and the cost of a roof is almost entirely dictated by its geometry. Every time a roof changes direction, creates a valley, or features a dormer window, the cost skyrockets. Complex roofs require intricate truss engineering, massive amounts of cutting waste, and incredibly expensive labor-intensive flashing to prevent leaks. To keep your Dogtrot under $150,000, your roof must follow one absolute rule. It must be a single, unbroken, continuous plane. You have two options. The first is a classic straight gable roof, an upside-down V-shape that runs the entire length of the building, covering both pavilions and the trot without a single interruption. The second option is a shed roof, a modern single-pitch slanted roof that slopes from front to back. By keeping the roofline perfectly simple, you can order standard prefabricated roof trusses that are incredibly cheap and easy to install. For the roofing material itself, skip the traditional asphalt shingles. Instead, use exposed fastener ribbed metal roofing. It is highly affordable, can be installed quickly by a DIY builder, and lasts for over 50 years. A simple metal roof on a post-frame Dogtrot not only saves you thousands of dollars, but it honors the rustic utilitarian history of the architecture. If you spend time looking at modern Dogtrot homes in architectural magazines, you will inevitably see massive, custom-engineered structural glass walls that completely disappear into the framing. They are breathtaking, and they easily cost $20,000 to $30,000 per wall. If your entire house budget is $150K, custom glass is off the table. But that doesn't mean you have to live in a dark cave. The secret to affordable fenestration, the arrangement of windows and doors, is strictly adhering to standard off-the-shelf sizing. Every time you order a window that is even 1 inch outside of a standard factory dimension, the price doubles. You must design your wall framing to fit standard big box store windows. To create the massive open-air connection to the central breezeway without going bankrupt, smart builders use 2 specific hacks. First, standard sliding patio doors. By placing 2 standard 6-foot wide sliding glass doors side by side, you can create a massive 12-foot wall of glass for under $2,000. Second, the modern glass garage door. Industrial roll-up garage doors featuring insulated glass panels are incredibly affordable. When closed, they provide a stunning grid-like industrial window. When rolled up, they completely erase the wall, seamlessly connecting your kitchen or living room to the outdoor breezeway. It is a high-impact modern aesthetic, achieved on an absolute shoestring budget.
Plumbing is a hidden monster that will quietly destroy a strict budget. Every extra foot of piping, every additional vent stack, and every complex trenching requirement adds hundreds of dollars in material and labor costs. To build a Dogtrot affordably, you must master the concept of the consolidated wet wall. In a split pavilion Dogtrot, you are already faced with the challenge of running utilities across the central breezeway. If you place your kitchen sink on the far outside wall of one cabin and your bath and shower on the far outside wall of the other cabin, you have to run expensive supply and drainage lines across the entire footprint of the house. The budget solution is to mirror your plumbing. You must design the floor plan so that the kitchen and the bathroom share the inner walls, the walls directly facing the breezeway. By consolidating all of your water fixtures into a centralized, compact area, your plumber only has to run one main supply trunk and one main drainage drop. Furthermore, modern budget builders skip rigid copper piping entirely, utilizing flexible PEX tubing. PEX is exponentially cheaper, installs in a fraction of the time, and is highly resistant to freezing and bursting. By keeping your plumbing tight, mirrored, and flexible, you shave crucial thousands off the mechanical budget.
If you call a traditional HVAC contractor to install a central air conditioning and heating system in a Dogtrot house, the quote will be astronomical. Because the house is split into two separate buildings, a traditional forced air system would require massive, heavily insulated ductwork to be routed under the floor or through the roof across the unconditioned breezeway. It is highly inefficient, prone to thermal loss, and incredibly expensive. To hit your 150K target, you must abandon traditional ducted central air entirely. The absolute best solution for a small 2-pavilion Dogtrot is the ductless mini-split system. Mini-splits consist of a small outdoor compressor that connects via a simple 3-inch refrigerant line to a sleek indoor wall unit. You install one indoor unit in the living pavilion and one indoor unit in the sleeping pavilion. Mini-splits are a budget builder's dream. They require zero ductwork, meaning you don't lose any ceiling height. They are wildly energy efficient because you can control the temperature of each pavilion independently. Why pay to heat the kitchen at night when you are asleep in the other cabin? Furthermore, many modern mini-split systems are designed explicitly for DIY installation. Pre-charged line sets allow ambitious owner-builders to mount and connect the units themselves, completely avoiding the steep labor fees of licensed HVAC technicians. This one decision can single-handedly save your budget.